This is a different topic, but we're still talking about dealing with items, and so this segment we are talking item defaults maintenance. Now, I don't even think I'm going to have to say anything. I think you have a lot of strong feelings about this screen, and
Yeah.
I am just going to like pull up a record and then run away.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I understand the need for item defaults, especially if you're allowing item on the fly and things like that. You have to have some of this stuff in here. And there are some good things. Like if you scroll down, the track lots, or not track lots, truck bins should always be turned on.
Yep.
And that primary bin should be no bin. That goes back to what we were talking about. That I don't.
Well, let's say this. Let's before your eye starts to twitch. This screen defines like on a location by location basis. So you need to set this up for every location. But this defines sort of the base layer of if you don't tell me what to do, I'm going to use these settings when I set up an item.
And it's funny because we have some of these filled out, but not necessarily all of these are required. But like stuff like the base unit being a default drives me nuts just because not every product is created equal. So unless you're always, our base unit, we're always going to say is each, then cool, it works for you. But really for me, it's the stockable flag down there. For the love of God, do not check that in your item defaults.
All right. I know it's in the chat and everybody can look down at the chat and laugh, but I'm sorry. I got to put this on screen somewhere because it's very funny to me. Oh, come on. Hang on. I'm getting there. Palm olive soap in the system 10 different ways. That I find that incredibly funny. Okay. Sorry for interrupting your rant, please.
Again, stockable is a choice, not a default. Like stock, and it's true. And I know I make light of it, but I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody with 300,000 stockable items in their system when they only really sell like 1,500 to 2,000 regularly.
Correct. Yeah.
It just makes noise.
I think it sows distrust. It really
does.
That's kind of my big takeaway from it is when everything it's kind of like email, right? Like everyone has that one human they interact with in life that like, if they send you 15 emails, 14 of them have the right exclamation point. Mm-hmm. When every email has a red exclamation point, none of them have one. And It's kind of the same thing. When every item is stockable, none of them are stockable.
When everything is critical, just in different shades of red.
Yeah.
Nothing is critical. Product group ID, I want to call like having a default of that. Is that a required field?
I don't believe it actually is.
Because like we said, that's tied to GL accounts. So you want to make sure that if you are a company that product groups have different buckets they're going into, this could throw off all kinds of stuff.
I think you're bringing up a really good point here, and I'm not sure if you mean to, but the point that I'm hearing you make is sometimes it's to your advantage to not have a default.
Yes.
Because you're forcing the user to make a choice rather than just letting them accept a bad choice by default.
Right. And unfortunately, there are some some things, and we'll get to that when we show item on the fly. There are some instances where the data that maybe you want them to set or make a choice on isn't available there by default. So you can, we can dyna change that screen to add some fields, I believe.
Which screen on the fly?
Item on the fly.
You can to a limited basis, and then there's some other things that you can do. Again, it's business rules. Okay, I get it. Not everybody has that, but a lot of people do. And we've had a lot of success with business rules and item on the fly, doing some of the pre-cleanup as the item's being created, and it really lowers the it really lowers the misery index. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it.
Well, because what other people will do is, one of our customers, and she was telling me about it, she gets an email every day of every new item added to their system, so she can go double checking. And we're talking 20 to 50 items a day. And
wow, that would suck if you take 2 weeks vacation.
Yeah. I mean, anything that you can do to limit that pain point after the fact is well worth asking somebody to. Basically, if you trust people enough to allow them to add items on the fly, which it is a user setting, they should be responsible enough to make good decisions.
Yeah, or at the very least, I mean, start thinking of, look, I see a lot of companies get into this like it's either A or B, right? Like all of these things are binary choices. To a degree they are, but you can put guardrails in place to prevent people from just blatantly doing the wrong thing. You know, if you're watching this and you have business rules and you set up a ton of what I call derivative items, the item already exists on our system. We just need to tweak it a little bit, different finish, different length, different whatever. Talk to us. We've done a feature called copy item on the fly, where you can actually like say, I want to copy my item on the fly from this other item that I know is right. And we can clean a lot of these things up. And again, we're not trying to get the misery index to 0. That's a fool's errand. And right. If that's the expectation you're coming into work with, you're just not going to have very many good days. But if you look at it and say, I just want to manage like 80% less of this, I think that's doable. I really do.
Right. And again, we're not, well, you know, yeah, come to us if you want some business rules.
Yeah, we're selling that. We are actively selling that.
We are, but it does allow you. I had a customer that wanted to only allow item on the fly on service item level products. Basically products that are like, hey, they had to go to Home Depot to go buy this, and we want them to be able to create it or add it to a location or whatever it is, but not nothing else. So with a business rule, we set it up where if this item, and it was adding items to locations, which is a little different, it's product group. It was something we did where basically if it wasn't within this fenced off area, they didn't have permission to add it on the fly.
Right.
Even though their user permission says they do.
Mm-hmm.
We then were able to take that,
shape it a little bit. Just shape
shrink,
it.
Yeah, shrink down their available pool of issues.
We've done the same thing with inventory adjustments too, where it's like, you know, inventory adjustment doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can limit people and say they can only make adjustments under this reason code.
Right. Or even at this amount.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be saved as unapproved. So anyways, item defaults, use them sparingly.
But wisely.
Yeah. Again, obviously like buy makes sense because, I mean, typically
you're buying a lot of them.
You're buying it.
Unless you have like if you have a location that is mostly manufacturing, you might reverse that and say, I'm checking make by default, but not buy.
Yeah, because it is location specific. Again, I guess you could make it. No, none of this makes any sense to me. Like so much of this stuff makes no sense to me at all, unless you're a very specific. This location only buys 99% of their items from Black & Decker. Okay, we'll set the default supplier to Black & Decker. Like, it just
still,
seems strange.
I mean, the price of that being wrong.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh.
So, be wary, is all I'm saying. Just be wary.
So then you've got default replenishment settings.
Now, that one I'm okay with. Like if you are setting this location up, like if you have a DC, right, and you're bringing all your inventory in one location, And so every other location, you want to set up their replenishment location as that,
Okay.
you could make that argument, but most people, this is fun. But all this stuff is just...
It's scary
these
to
are-
me. I mean,
Right.
like
These are
a
decisions.
default min and max? Are you kidding me? If you have one item that's $5 and another one that's 5,000, like those have dramatically different impacts on how things are going to work and how much money's going to flow out of your checking account.
I feel like the meme, old guy yelling at clouds. Like, I just...
Are you turning into the guy from Up? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I just don't like... Well, I'm walking like him right now. So, I mean... I may or may not be on next week's stream. We'll see how I do.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, I mean, yes, there's valid things for item defaults, but like I'm more of a fan of the somebody with intelligence of not intelligence here, but just intelligence of the process should be the one adding items. I know that's not reality for a lot of people because
there's just too many to create,
Right.
And again, this is like threading a needle because you're talking about. I mean, we're getting right to the heart of the concept of how much friction is there going to be in the business to get something done.
Right.
The answer is usually not a lot of friction, and the answer is usually not zero friction. Like, think about like an exercise bike, right? You set it to 10, you're not pedaling anywhere. You set it to 0, you're not getting any exercise. So you've got to find something where all sides of the house can kind of meet in the middle and say, all right, we can live with this. And it's different for every company. It's different at locations within a company.
Yeah, and no defaults are going to just do what you need them to do naturally. Like,
now this one I think has merit, the tax jurisdiction, because a lot of times you have like a default bucket that all jurisdictions are in because you need tax to apply to all items. This one to me, like, this is good. This keeps you from making mistakes. I like this. Service item, I think that really is only going to play if you're using service and maintenance. To be continued on a future live stream. Is there anything else we want to talk about in here? Like any other...
Nope.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just feel like there's a lot of danger in cutting this too fine.
Yep.